For decades, software was built one line at a time. A programmer sat in front of a screen, writing, testing, debugging, repeating the process endlessly. Every application, every platform, every digital product required human effort, human expertise, and human time. Then, something changed. The machine learned the language of software. Code entered the realm of automation, and suddenly, the economics of development began to shift. Most people think AI coding assistants write software. They don't. Software is merely the visible output. The real product is something far more valuable. They manufacture development velocity, on demand, at scale, across millions of projects simultaneously. This is not a software business. It is a software infrastructure business, and the operators who understand this distinction are quietly positioning themselves at the center of the next technological gold rush. Today, we decode the blueprint behind the AI Code Assistant Framework, a system transforming development into infrastructure.
To control a system, you must first understand its architecture. Most developers see code suggestions, but suggestions are only the surface. Beneath the interface exists a much larger machine. Layer 1, the intelligence layer. Models trained on programming languages, frameworks, patterns, and software architectures. Layer 2, the context layer. Repositories, documentation, project structures, and development workflows. Layer 3, the execution layer. The environment transforming ideas into functioning systems. Most entrepreneurs focus on code generation. That is a mistake, because code generation will eventually become abundant. History repeatedly demonstrates the same pattern. When production becomes easier, value migrates upward, toward workflow, toward integration, toward distribution. The code itself matters, but the environment through which software is created matters more. Most people see programming. The architect sees infrastructure. Traditional software development follows a familiar equation. More projects require more developers. More developers require more coordination. More coordination creates more complexity, and complexity slows growth. This equation shaped the technology industry for decades. Artificial intelligence changes the equation. A developer equipped with infrastructure can produce more, faster, cheaper, and at greater scale. The difference is not incremental, it is structural. The bottleneck begins to move, from writing code to defining objectives, from implementation to orchestration. This creates extraordinary leverage, because software production starts behaving like software itself, replicable, scalable, and increasingly automated. For the first time, small teams can compete with organizations many times their size, not because they work harder, because the infrastructure works harder. And systems that amplify productivity tend to become extremely valuable. If AI coding tools are becoming widely available, why do certain platforms continue growing stronger? Because the real advantage is not intelligence, it is integration. Developers build habits, teams build workflows, companies build processes, repositories accumulate history, contexts become richer, and over time, the platform becomes embedded inside development itself. This is where dependency emerges, not because users cannot leave, because leaving becomes expensive. Every workflow must be rebuilt. Every process must be redesigned. every team must adapt. The strongest infrastructure businesses understand this. They do not merely provide functionality, they become part of the operating system of work. And operating systems possess extraordinary staying power, because replacing a tool is easy, replacing infrastructure is not. This brings us to the blueprint. Most aspiring founders believe they must create the next programming model. That assumption creates unnecessary friction. The intelligence layer already exists. The opportunity exists above it. Identify industries where software development is repetitive: internal business tools, e-commerce systems, operational dashboards, industry-specific applications, workflow automation. Then identify the bottlenecks, the repetitive tasks, the recurring requests, the predictable development patterns. Build infrastructure around those needs, not around artificial intelligence, around productivity. The customer does not care how code is generated. The customer cares how quickly problems are solved. The technology becomes invisible. The outcome becomes valuable. And when outcomes become essential, the infrastructure becomes difficult to replace. This is where leverage emerges, not from writing software, but from controlling the environment where software is created. The industrial economy scaled production. The software economy scaled information. The artificial intelligence economy is beginning to scale creation itself. Most people see code. Most people see developers. Most people see programming tools. The architect sees infrastructure, a productivity layer, a development network, a scalable utility. The technology will improve. The models will become more capable. The barriers will continue to fall. But the underlying principle remains unchanged. The greatest fortunes are rarely built by creating the resource. They are built by controlling access to it. Most people write software. The architect distributes capability. Most people build applications. The architect owns the factory. Most people follow innovation. The architect builds the infrastructure that enables it. This is Nexera, Decoding Systems, Architecting Wealth.